Let's talk a little bit about the recipe development process. So you have an idea of a flavor that you want. So where do you start? How do you start? What do you do? Well, there was a juice that I used to vape when I first started vaping over a year ago. It was a caramelized banana. It was really good. It was my favorite. It was my all-day vape. But I stopped buying it because it was a little bit too expensive for me, and I didn't feel like paying all the money all the time because I sucked it down constantly. So now that I started this DIY stuff, I figured, well, let's try to make a caramelized banana. Well, I searched online for recipes. I can't find one anywhere. At least nothing that sounds decent. So I figured I'd try and work one up myself. So, where do I begin and how do I begin? It's a good question. Well, the first thing, obviously, is I want it to be banana. So I start off with the banana that I want. So I'll probably use a banana cream and then a banana. Now, how do I get the caramelized part? Is it just caramel? Well, I don't know. I will try to layer in some caramels. Probably the caramel, the original caramel, which is that creamy smooth caramel, and then I'll add a tad bit of the other caramel, the candy caramel, which is more of the hard, crunchier candy type caramel. A little bit of that with the creamy stuff, but that still doesn't give me the caramelized part, the sugary, crisp, sweet, chewiness of the caramelized, like it was cooked up and it's stuck on there. For that, I'm thinking probably going to need some brown sugar. I'm thinking the brown sugar will give it that sweetness and actually give it that caramelized, not just caramel, but the caramelized taste. So far that's what I got in my head, and I'm writing down on paper, and I'm thinking I'll probably add a little bit of butterscotch to that to bring out the caramel notes. The butterscotch will give it that little bit of lift that it needs. Banana, caramel, some brown sugar, and a little bit of butterscotch. Now see, when you're new, like I am, you kind of have to play around with things to know that, well, you need to add this to make this taste pop, and you need to add this to round out that harsh whatever. So I'm still learning, but this is the process that I go through when I'm trying to develop something. Now, I'm not trying to make juices to sell or to sell to my friends or give to my friends. This is just stuff for me, so I can play around with it, and if it isn't that great, oh well, I wasted my time and my money on my juice. I'm not under a deadline to make juice for somebody who's ordering something or who wants me to make no, that's not me right now. I mean, I'm just starting out, I'm just learning. So after I get a basic idea of what I think might work and might taste right, now you got to figure out the percentages and how to go about that. That's why I always say make little 10 ml bottles. Make a little 10 ml test bottle. That way you can get your ideas that you have and you put down on paper. And that's the important part. Put it down on paper so you know that you put 4% banana in and 3% caramel and 3% brown sugar, or whatever the percentages were, so you can reference it after you make it in your little bottle and you taste it and you go, ugh, this isn't even close. Either throw it out, start from scratch, or you go, it's kind of close, but it needs. I just tried a few recipes and I ran into some problems with some flavorings. There's a pineapple, it didn't taste anything like pineapple. So another one was vanilla bean ice cream. It tasted like pepper. So that ruined the recipe. So I had to get a different vanilla bean ice cream or swap it out with something else. So these are things that you learn along the way, like I am learning now, because I just started, so I'm learning all these things. So as you're trying to develop your own recipes, you run into these problems. So that's why good note taking, so you know what needs changed, what needs added, and you can get a basic start. You learn, like I have, that just because you get 10 flavors from this one company and they're all great, you get that 11th one, it could be shit. I have a couple recipes, some that I found, some that I came up with on my own, but I have a few that I mixed up some small batches and they've been steeping for a week or so, and as soon as I taste them and see if they came out all right, I will post the recipes and we'll do some mixing. But until they're right, I don't want to show you how to make the bad stuff. I just thought I'd share a little bit of the process of how you should go about things, as you know, what do you want and how to start. Like if you want strawberries and cream, well, you need to come up with your cream base. What do you want? Do you want a nice smooth, creamy, milky base? Do you want a custard base, a thicker custard base? Do you want vanillas, or do you want it just to be creamy? And then with the strawberry on top. So these are the things that you have to come up with first in your mind and put it down on paper as a process. What do I want? These are the things you have to think of. What do you want? And then what do you want? So how do I get there? For me, just starting out, the how do I get there is the challenge. Now these guys that have been doing it for a long time, they say, well, I want a nice milky, creamy, with just a hint of vanilla. Well, I need to use marshmallow, a little bit of meringue, 1% of this, 5% of this, a tad bit of hazelnut, and some fresh cream and a little bit of sweet cream, and there's my cream base. And now I just throw in 4% of strawberry and I have my strawberries and cream. I'm not there yet, so I don't know. That's half the fun, is learning. So if you have any tips for me, any tricks, any suggestions that you have, I am open. If not, learn with me, look over my shoulder as I figure all this out. I'll pass the knowledge on that I learn on to you guys. Just like check out these videos, I found out some stuff about a few flavors that just weren't right, so you can save yourself some time and money. And if you have any suggestions, let me know. I am very open to them because I'm learning just like you guys are. Or if you're one of them guys that have been doing it and can say, oh, do you want a milky? Well, you can use this, that, and then let me know. Give me the hints. I need help. This is Blind Views, and like always, that's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.